Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about something today that I don't believe we've ever done. I actually, in talking to psychic mediums over many years, I don't think I've done this topic. And it's one that needs to get done. Now, normally with her, we'll do some readings. By the way, you can still, if you have a question, anything, instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. You can reach out. Today, we're going to talk about, among other things, how to mentally, maybe physically, prepare for a reading so you're ready for it. She is Shannon. Shannon Dee Sees Things, and she's back with us. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, it's been a great week. And it's interesting that you say that. I've recently been reading a lot of folks over at the Beautiful Azalea, which is a retirement living community in Cinnaminson, New Jersey. And that was one of the questions that came up a lot. What am I supposed to do? Do I have to
Wow.
do something special? And you know, for different people, it's different things. And you know, when you're read by a psychic medium, we're all different. We all have, you know, different abilities and skills. So a lot of times, you know, it's okay to ask. And the first thing I say to people is, when you're getting ready to come, think about who you want to come. And in the couple days before, you know, when you're in a place, you know, usually it's the bathroom because you got privacy in your car. Talk out loud and say to whichever loved ones you would really want to hear from, whether it's uh, a, a spouse that's passed, mom, dad, grandmom. Hey, you know, grandma, please come. Please come. I'd
Hmm.
really love to hear from you. And they will come. They will come. And if there ends up being somebody who is a little more resistant, which I've had, whether there was a broken relationship or they're embarrassed by the way they passed, my dad is able to bring them forward. I've never not had him be able to bring them forward. But when you tell them you want them to bring them forward, they will. And a lot of things, when they haven't had this before, I don't see anything bad. And so I always tell people my mission statement is to bring forth messages of healing, hope, and love. So I'm not going to see anything tragic in your future. I'm not going to see death. I'm not going to see a tragic car accident. I might see a minor fender bender, but usually if I see a minor fender bender, it's for a good reason. Hey, you know, you have an older car or a car that you don't really like. So I see you having a minor fender bender because you're supposed to get a white Jeep. Your dad said you've always wanted to get a Jeep, and you always get this great big smile. And there's a reason why. Or you're supposed to meet somebody through getting that Jeep. So I tell people, feel free to ask questions, write them down, because
Hmm.
trust me, when you sit in front of a medium, people are very skeptic and they don't expect us to actually know things. We cannot read your minds. We also can't come up with, um, I can't come up with, you gave your aunt a specific object. You know, Jen and I joke about the blue Samsonite with the stickers. I came up with everything except for the word Samsonite. And the person's like, well, then if you couldn't come up with the object that I told them to come up with, then it isn't really them. But I
Hmm.
came up with specific memories, phrases. I could mimic everything that they did. Well, if you don't really think it was them, I don't think you wanted to believe it was them, you know, when we can come up with memories and everything else. I'm not Karnak. I can't come up with, unless they tell me what that object is, I can't come up with it. Um, but
Hmm.
be open to the process. But come up with things. What is it like up there? Did you have any, what was the first person that you saw? Are you watching over anybody? Things like that. Ask questions that are, things that you're interested in, and they're going to answer you. Do you send me any signs? What are they? Usually people find that before they can ask the question, the other side knows. They already know what questions you're going to ask them, because I encourage people to talk out loud, because a lot of the books that I've read by Jonathan Edward, Teresa Caputo, James Van Prague, they'll say, talk out loud to them. And so a lot of times they hear you. And
It's almost
so
like the
they
law of the
know.
universe, though, because it's been said that what you want in life may not necessarily be what you should get or really need in life. And the universe will bring you the things that support you. And it may not be what you're thinking. And that goes in line with what you're saying, where I want an object. I want Shannon to bring something through. I want to see this, or I want to speak with this one relative. I want that. I want that. Well, maybe there's a message from another relative that's more important at that moment, and you have to be open to it without having, the blinders on. Like, this is it. I want this. I want this. And then you didn't get it. And then somebody can get frustrated after reading. But you did get something. And
Yes.
in time, it will be revealed why that may have been way more important than talking to another relative at that time. At that time, right?
You're 100% correct, Steve. At the beginning of every reading, I offer people the opportunity, whether it be an individual or a group reading. I say, is there anyone in particular that you want to hear from? Do you just want to see who comes through? And at the end, if we have time, then I'll ask, is there anyone you didn't hear from that you'd like me to have my dad bring forth? And I always tell people, especially in a group reading, you may not hear from the person that you really wanted to hear from, but the Holy Spirit's going to bring forth the person that you really needed to hear from today, with the message that you needed to hear most. And every group reading, people leave, and
Hmm.
people always end up crying. The men always end up crying, because they get the message that they needed. I've had more families get the sign that's this. The sign that's this is when a broken relationship within friends or family comes up, and they haven't spoken for weeks, months, years. And I'm telling them, this family is broken, and it can be fixed. And a lot of times I'm told who's supposed to make the first move, how it's
Ah,
supposed to happen, and that it's going to be fixed. And I've been having the absolute just joy of hearing back that these things have been happening, and that these relationships have come to fruition.
hmm.
There's a family down south that I was able to tell them that they were going to have a granddaughter get pregnant with their first grandchild, and in the meantime told the husband that his three siblings that he has not talked to in years, that he was going to hear from. And I told them what order he was going to hear from them, and darned if it didn't happen. And he thought I was out of my mind. And
Yeah.
in fact, Jerry did hear from them, and it's been an amazing journey. And I'm just over the moon for him, over the moon.
So I want to go back to what you said. You said your father is, I want to say, your spirit guide, the one that
Mhm.
provides you with the information or kind of works with you on the other side. He's like the go-between, if you will. Um, is it always that way?
Ye- Yes.
Well,
He is my lobby man. Um, he when I go up through, before I do a reading, I mentally get in the elevator. And for me, I hear a very specific song. I've never heard it before, but it's just my little, um, kind of my jam. And I go through the colors of the chakra, and it's almost as if the elevator turns into different kitchens, because I love being in the kitchen. I love cooking, and the song keeps getting better each time, and my outfit will somewhat change. And when I get to the very top, um, I'm I'm wearing gold, and then the lobby doors, it opens, and everything in that room is white.
Wow.
And my dad is there, Aunt Dolores is there, there are other family members there now. And everything in there is white. And on the other side is another set of doors. And when I tell my dad it's time to open the lobby, that's when it opens to the other side.
Wow.
And my dad will bring them through. When I'm reading people, it's as if I'm in a clearing. It's me and the client or clients, and we're sitting in the woods in a clearing. There's like a little fire. So we can see each other, and the woods are around us, and it's dark. So we can see each other, but we can't see anyone else. And so when I tell my dad to open the lobby, um, I am now not with my dad, but I can hear the shuffling of feet. So now I can hear about how many loved ones are up there. And so I start to play. It's kind of like red light, green light, that I will feel, and the number of people or who they are feel like rings. If it's the first ring, I can feel that that is going to be a mom, dad, brother, sister. The next ring out is grandparents and aunts, uncles. And then the next rings and they go out. Sometimes somebody is as close as a mom, dad, or like filled the roles as, so they're almost like a half ring. But I'll ask the person, okay, this person, um, it is either an aunt or was like a family aunt, like it might have been your mom's best friend. And so we kind of play that game. And I'll say it's a female, it's on your mom's side of the family. I don't feel like it's on your dad's. And
Mm.
this was a female. Did you lose an aunt on your mom's side? And so I ask a yes or no question. And usually within two or three, we've identified who this person is. And it's like they step closer to the fire. Within two or three, I usually can physically see them, can describe what they look like. And
Wow.
then it's like they sit down at the campfire with us. And, the more excited that the client gets and the more demonstrative that they get, the more I can actually mimic what what their loved one does. Like I can, one time we had such a great group. They were laughing so hard that I was able to mimic the grandmother who had a cigarette dangling out of her mouth, a beer in her hand, and she was cooking things on a skillet. So she's talking to people and she's cooking things and she's like, what do you want? Who wants the next one? They were laughing so hard because I was actually like leaned over the way she was. And I've done that many times where I without realizing it will start physically acting like them. And they're like, and it makes them laugh all the more harder because a lot of times I don't realize I'm doing it. But it's the more
Mm.
energy that they give me, it hooks them and holds on to their energy. And that enables me to physically be able to see them. But I can describe what they're wearing, whether they have glasses, wrinkles, everything about them. Like when I see your Aunt B, I see her as close as I see you.
Wow. Wow. It's fun, and you've read her a number of times. Um, you mentioned vehicles before, and so I'm in a position where I have a chance to buy someone's mom's vehicle. I'm sitting on it, waiting for universe or the feeling of whether I should. It seems like it's kind of what I was looking for. Her mom passed away in the last month. Her mom only bought the vehicle a year ago and it was 1 year old. So I know the history on it. So, and it'd be a little bit cheaper than if I bought it at a dealership. Um, but I'm conflicted. I don't know if I should go for it. I do. There's a part of me that likes the fact that I'm buying her mom's vehicle.
Mhm.
Um,
She has very warm energy. She, to me, feels like a warm chocolate chip cookie.
hmm. And I didn't know her mom. And I've known her, I don't know, maybe like 3 years. Um, when I thought, and I'm a thinker, so I just sit on it. I don't need one immediately, but it's time soon. But then I got this vision that the color of the vehicle was the color that my mom drove. So that was another like, I wonder if that's a reason for being. I don't know. My point here is when you have to make a decision, and I believe when you have to make a decision, we know the answer inside, but
We do.
there's stuff is around us and that gets in the way. Um, how do you pull the answer out? Through intuition or guides or whatever. Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, and I guess I really need to quietly sit with this decision. It's a bigger decision. You're stuck with a vehicle for a while. It's an expense, but I wonder
Most times we already know the answer.
for
We
sure.
know intuitively from the get-go.
Mm,
It's that we talk ourselves out of it.
for sure. I
We
totally
talk
agree with you.
ourselves out of it. We start coming up with the reasons why we shouldn't when we've already known from the get-go what the answer was. Intuitively, we know right away whether it's the right answer or not, and we connect with it. And we know that this was the right choice at the right time. And we're sure that it's the right choice. It's a safe vehicle. It's a four-door vehicle. It's a lighter color vehicle, so it's going to be seen. It's a safe vehicle. I think she even has the tissue box in the vehicle.
Mm.
So in case you need it, you're getting rolling. It's got good safety features. So these things you already know. It's not a turbo vehicle and
Well,
it's
you're
not.
right. You're right because it is. I do know because it'll be the probably third vehicle of the same make that I've had, maybe fourth. I can't remember. And then part of me is like, well, maybe you should change it up. You've always gone with this type. Maybe you should go in a different direction. But for the
Because you're a
most
creature of
part,
habit.
well, yeah. But
Because
but but
this vehicle is setting you up to be able to get the place that you will need to get because you're already going to know what the insurance is. So
hmm,
this is an easy decision for you to make because the harder decision is going to be where.
I think based on and I just got a vision. I just got something. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a picture of it. I need to physically be at it. And that will give me the answer.
Is there something hanging from the rearview mirror?
I'll have to find out. I don't know. And the picture that I have is the picture that um, she got from the dealership before she bought it. And my friend, her daughter, had that picture. So she's like, "Oh, let me send it to you. I got it on my phone." Um, but that's all I got.
Something, look for something in the car that's going to definitively remind you of your mother. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Say that again.
Look for something in or on the car that's going to definitively remind you of your mother.
I just got a text from my friend.
Tell
I'm
me
not even
it's,
kidding.
tell
I'm
me.
not even blanking kidding.
I told you
Just
it's all about connections this week.
how do you do that? It just out of nowhere. By the way, I got the car today. This is my friend. I don't think you're going to be interested in it. First, it's a little scratch on the passenger side, and there's a small dent on the side from my mom clearly hitting something in the garage. Uh, the connection to my mom. First of all, it was the same color, different model, but same color. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, it looks like mom's car. Um, and my mom would, as she got up there in age, continually bang into things, and friends would call me. I just want to let you know, I see a yellow scrape on the side. And there was a point where I had to say, Mom, you can't drive anymore. So that's even another reminder. Wow. And you just said it'd be a connection to your mom.
This is your car. This
Say
is your
that.
car.
Say it again.
This is your car.
I need to go see it to really feel some energy from it. I don't know.
Okay, stubborn. This is your car.
Hmm.
I keep seeing like one of those little um stickers that are you can either they're embroidered and you can put them on your jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Sure.
look for one of those or something like a rose or something in the car and check out the license plate.
For me, I go two ways. It could be my car because there's a connection to it, and I've had that vehicle and I know what to expect. The other side of it is, well, it reminds me too much of my mom, and the fact that she just mentioned that it's got a dent on it from her mom opening it in the garage and things like that. So I have to physically see the car. It's like, love at first sight. I'll know definitively at that time. Um, but it's funny that you just said something, there's more to it connected to your mom. And then I get this text that says, from her mom doing the same thing that my mom did. And her mom was much younger when she passed in the last month than my mom. So it's kind of,
There's a way to pull out dents.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get you. I
No,
get
I
you.
mean, like you could pour hot water over it and do something. I asked my brother, he just told me yesterday we went to the
Yeah.
Phillies game. But you could do it yourself. It's like you pour hot water over it and do
Interesting.
something, and it just
Um,
comes out.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a big deal at all, but I just think it's kind of funny that that's what I remember from my mom, and then you just said that, and you can't make it up. I mean, literally just got the text. It's almost as if the universe is like y'all are working together at the same time.
It
Shannon,
it has been that way.
how do
Yeah.
we work with you? How do we find you? I know your handler Jen, your cousin's not here today to dispense that information, but
She just came back from an incredible vacation. I thought she was going to be here today because I'm ready to go over and get my hair cut because I look like who did it. You can find us on Instagram. We're just starting up the TikTok, Facebook at Shannon Dee Sees, or you can reach out to us by contacting Jen by phone. You can text her, you can call her, 215-680-7693. And now that I have time, our website's going to be coming by the same name, but it'll be by .net. So the next time I talk to you, it will be up and running.
super cool.
And we are
Th-
busy as heck. And I'm doing charity things and appearances now. Get
nice.
busy as sin with that too.
Awesome. Good for you. And thanks for all
Yeah.
the insight on what to expect in a reading, how to prepare for it. And we'll catch up next time.
Okay. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.